With the advent of the internet, pornography became, in a way that it has never been before, accessible, affordable, and anonymous. We call these the 3 A's of the internet. And with this accessibility, anonymity, and affordability, porn use naturally skyrocketed. And so in the minds of many has gained a greater acceptability. What we once called hardcore porn, we now call softcore. What we once called softcore, we now call Game of Thrones, halftime at the Super Bowl, salad dressing commercials. It doesn't matter. It's sort of migrated into mainstream culture. So it's everywhere. I don't think that would be too much of a stretch. So it's affecting us. There's a lot of reasons to quit porn that aren't religious. I mean, we could just think of self-interested reasons. One might be that we want to be interesting people, because pornography turns us in on ourselves. The porn industry would have us believe that pornography is entertainment for well-rounded, mature, open-minded adults. But I would say quite the contrary. Pornography is a drearily predictable means of becoming bored and boring. It doesn't work, and I've never met an addict who I found interesting, or who found me interesting. And I've been in that position myself as a younger man, and your world just becomes smaller and smaller, and you become less and less interesting. And so I think we have a great opportunity here. In struggling against porn, we can become holy. Sometimes we think that struggle is synonymous with give into. So someone will say, I've been struggling with porn, and we think they mean, I've given into porn. And that is what they mean, but that's not what struggle means, right? Struggle means to violently resist or break away from. So if we're struggling against porn, then we have to grow in virtue. It's not just, if you think of a bar graph, it's not just chastity that grows. Self-mastery, patience, gentleness. I mean, we become more fully human, more fully alive, much more interesting people, I think. So there's lots of reasons to be free of porn. The first thing I would say to parents is to recognize that it's not your child's fault that he or she was born into a pornographic culture. That's our fault, if anyone's fault. It's not their fault. They didn't ask for this. The first time they stumbled across pornography probably wasn't their fault either. They were either exposed to it unintentionally or they stumbled across it. The fact that they reacted with excitement, confusion, joy, wanted to see more, that's really not their fault either. So I say that because we shouldn't let the devil win twice. If we find out our son or daughter has been looking at porn, freaking out on them and getting really down on them isn't helpful. This isn't, again, this isn't their fault that they were born into this. But here's what parents need to do. I think we are probably the first generation, maybe the second or third, that needs to talk to our children about pornography. Now that can be a toe-curling thought because we don't want to damage their innocence. We don't want to scandalize them. But when you think about it, we speak about even more disturbing things with them, but in age-appropriate ways. For an example, when my son runs off in a restaurant to the bathroom, I say to him, do not go off on your own. I need to be with you. And he might say, why? And what do I say? Well, I say what most parents say. Well, there could be a bad person in there who could take you away. I mean, goodness, think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about maybe pedophilia, sex trafficking, all sorts of things. And so we don't need to say everything, but maybe saying things like, if you ever see somebody naked, whether that be on the computer or outside somewhere, you always tell mummy and daddy. That's something we would like to know. If you ever see someone who doesn't understand how good they are, and you might know that from what they're showing, or you might say if you see something online that makes you feel uncomfortable, I would always love for you to come and tell mummy or daddy about this. If you as a parent don't want your kids addicted to porn, this is necessary. This isn't optional. You need to get accountability and filtering software. Covenant Eyes is the best out there. It invented accountability software. So they have a great filter. So you might say, well, if my children are beneath the age of 11, I'm going to have a filter. And a filter just blocks the bad stuff. But a filter doesn't tell you what your children were searching for. It doesn't tell you if they accidentally got around it and how long they're on this particular website. Accountability software treats us like adults, and here's how it works. When we download accountability software, you can just download it once. You put it on your laptop, your smartphone, your tablet. It works everywhere. Then it asks you to insert the email of an accountability partner. And as the parent, you would like to be the accountability partner. Then, wherever your son or daughter goes online, you will get a report. And it'll be graded in much the same way that video games are graded. G, T, M, MA, etc. So you might say, well, this son, he's 5. So I'm going to set the rating at T. So if he looks at any T for teen websites, I want to know about it. But you might have another child, maybe it's a daughter who's 15. And you might say, well, T for teen's okay, but M and MA, I'd like to know. So you set to M and MA. Then you get a report. And you might find that your daughter is looking at pornographic sites. And then you get to have a conversation with her. You just sit her down and just lovingly say, so I looked at your report and I've seen some things that are troubling. Is there anything you want to talk about? And this treats us like adults and like responsible moral agents. Instead of just blocking us, it essentially changes the mentality. The person using the computer, the phone, the iPad, whatever, thinks to themselves, well, I could go to this site. I'm free, perfectly able to do it. But then I have to have a conversation with my mum or dad about why this isn't the sort of person I want to be. And you might be a parent who might be listening to me and thinking, my kid isn't looking for porn. Listen to me. That isn't the point. The point is, and I promise you, the porn industry is looking for your child. And they have a vested interest in getting your child hooked young because it means dollar symbols. So do not be naive. Download Covenant Eyes, filtering and accountability, putting it all the devices. Make this rule in your home. If I'm not willing to monitor this device, I'm not going to get the device. I think that is absolutely essential. So my website is theporneffect.com, which is a site aimed primarily at young adult Catholics on educating them about the negative effects of pornography and how to be free. The other website I'd highly encourage people going to is covenanteyes.com, and that's where they can download the best accountability and filtering software for them and their family.